dialed in.
To everything.
Sounds are going right into my brain cells.
It's wild.
All right, boys. Well, I think we get into it.
Yeah.
So, welcome to episode 2 of the List to Survive podcast. Yeah. We are essentially a raw, uncensored real estate podcast here in the city of Ottawa. And today we have the one and only bruce.libbos, not to be confused with the boss, even though he is a boss. But I've been working with Bruce since about 2018 when we were Blue Panda Realty. Yeah. And now we're known as the Agency Ottawa. But let's get right into it. I just want to ask, Bruce, how have you been? How are
Good,
things?
man. Pleasure to be here with you boys. Yeah, this is love you both, and we often just go off in tangents in the office, just chatting away.
This might go all over the place.
Hockey, everything in between. So when you asked me to do this, it's like, well, it's kind of what we do every day. So.
Yeah,
appreciate you coming.
Yeah. Conversations could get a little hectic, so it's good.
We'll keep it tamed, not too much. We'll get in trouble, but one question we really want to ask people when they come on here is if you're in an Uber and you're just kind of catching a ride to go to Lansdowne, let's say, how would you introduce yourself to the Uber driver? So you jump in the cab and the guy's like, what do you do for a living? Or who are you? How would you answer that? It's complicated, but...
You know what? I don't often get that. I find it's probably our service nature. I'm the one asking about him. Mm-hmm. I mean, hey man, how's your night going? Is it busy? You're getting lots of clients, everything else. What's your busy time? And I just I don't know. I'm trying to make them feel comfortable.
So you don't sell yourself as a real estate agent?
No.
I think for two, as a realtor, I mean, you're trying to make everyone comfortable around you. It's all relationship based. So I kind of do a similar thing. I'm not trying to sell myself. So I'm not.
I think there's you do.
Oh, I jump in there. I'm a real estate agent.
Oh, you're probably giving the card.
I got the card going. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at that. It's probably I know I hear on real estate podcasts
cheesy
people, everyone should know you're a realtor in the room. And I definitely don't do that. I don't know if it's the classic scent of a solicitor where it's I think it's not my vibe. I'm laid back, and if I'm trying to sell myself in the room, I think I take away a lot of my power. So as far as what I have to offer, which is personal contact and being chill and not coming off smelling like you're trying to sell something.
That's that's the most Bruce answer I've ever heard. That actually fits into it too.
100%.
I think the biggest call I'm going to give him is if I wasn't a real estate agent and I was searching a real estate agent, you'd be the type of guy and realtor I'd sign.
Oh, nice.
For sure.
As someone in the industry, he would be, I'd hire you too, but...
When I joined, you were the first guy I talked to.
Oh, yeah?
Very calm. Remember we came in the kitchen?
Day one he did. He came in. You were the first guy he met.
Yeah, eating your 5-course meal as always. Yeah. Very calm, easygoing.
For our listeners here, nice. Bruce has a 5-course meal every single day.
Yeah. I have a pretty wonderful partner who makes lots of food.
Shout out.
Delara, got to give you a shout out, girl. All my success here.
That's awesome.
All to the nutrition I'm provided on a daily basis.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess what I want to add to here is off camera. We were talking, obviously we're all real estate agents, real estate podcast, but I was mentioning to a coworker that there's a lot of real estate agents, especially with COVID. I think we started off pre-COVID with 3,000 agents, and now we're almost at 4,000.
Yeah, we're close to 4.
So in 24 months, you got 1,000 guys coming in, guys and girls. So get a little iffy. And I was saying that we need less of us and more people, nurses, firefighters, etc. And you actually had an interesting take saying, we need us. I'm not saying we don't need real estate agents, but I was just saying that the service industry.
I totally respect firefighters and police officers. My father and my sister were Ottawa police, and
I didn't know that.
I'm big supporters of them. That. So I don't mean less of them. I just mean a lot of people get into real estate and they think it's the easy thing. Hey, I'm going to make money. Worst reason ever to get into real estate is for the money.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
People think, I'm going to go in there, look at, people are getting, it's not easy.
No.
First of all, you have to pay for it all. And then you have to, there's no framework. You come in and you only make what you sell. And it's not I sell a home. That's hard to do, get clients that are going to trust you. But you don't get paid right away.
Months.
It
can be years.
It's going to take 4 months till that place closes, and then you don't get paid till a month after that. And by that time, you've had debts that have accrued, and you're just paying off and breaking even. And you got marketing, everything else. So it's it takes a lot of we all have had friends that are I've always wanted to do that, but how many people do it? I guess some do, and I think the people that are getting into it for the reasons of making money, like a lot of money, I don't even worry about those people because like you're going to be done.
They come and go for sure.
So you probably think the same. You think they'll fizzle out. Yeah. I think there's a stat. What was the stat we talked about?
So I think like it's something to do with within the first 5 years. I think like 80% are gone. Right. I mean, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I've been doing it for like.
That, though? If 80% of the nurses quit after 5 years, I mean, there must be a similar stat. I'd love to know that.
Yeah, but you gotta think too. People come into this for the money reason, right?
Don't quote us on that, by the way. 80%. I don't know if that's a fact, but I remember hearing that.
Don't quote us on anything on this podcast.
No, but I think it is.
I'm so bad for that. I'm like, it's probably like 80, 90%. I use the percentages like with nothing.
Just let it fly. Let it fly.
With the percentages, same with like the stats per month. One agent would be like, oh yeah, month to month, like May to May, we're up 7%, and someone else is like, oh, we're up 12%. It's depends where you're looking, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, but
it's a good answer though. But you said like the framework is really what
it's really tough. It's really tough to.
There's no playbook.
I think like Sphere, and I think like getting into the business later in my life was easier. I think if you've possibly been a good person in your life and you've built up like a sphere of friends who trust you as a friend, your life is easier. But if you get in at a young age, like I think it's much more difficult getting in your say early 20s. A lot of your friend sphere can't afford homes, so it's like it's always going to be a grind for sure. Yeah.
Everyone's had their ups and downs,
and there's no guarantees. Like you can be on a streak and like you can also then go 4 months.
You can go cold real quick.
When you're hot, you're hot, and when you're cold, you're ice cold. It's crazy how the ups and downs in real estate affects you, but I think it's more of a mental thing.
For sure.
100%.
If you got it upstairs and you're confident and you can roll it out, I think you're fine. But it's funny because about a month ago, I don't know if you want me to tell this, but he was saying how he was asking Max that he maybe have to jump into leases because he wasn't as busy. And then Bruce, for the people that don't know, is red hot. Some would say sizzling.
Yeah.
So the Libbos, aka the boss, it applies, my man.
It's
you want to just elaborate on that? How you went from saying that, oh boys, I may have to jump into leases, to now me and him should be submitting our applications to him.
The show harkens back to just what I was just saying. Like you go a couple months where it's slow, like the fall and everything, and you really don't know. Like in this business, you never feel that secure because you could get on a red hot streak where it's so. Don't ever let your ego get the best of you when you're doing very well, because you can be hungry for a lease, a couple months later, and that's just this business. So
there's nothing wrong with doing leases.
No,
by the way,
no.
I actually did one today, ironically, but it's just funny how you went from one extreme to the other. Leases usually kind of like an entry level. Could you say would it be like an entry level for real estate agents?
For sure.
Come in, start the leases.
You learn a lot.
Good way to get a database, and
you'll always do leases.
No, I'm not above doing leases. Hell no. It's just funny how quick.
But it's crazy to show you like how fast like you can go from like feel like you're struggling to change. The industry is just so up and down, and it's very stressful.
And sometimes it's like it's a lease, it's a deal. Sometimes you just need to get the feet flowing, get a deal done, and get like just keep working, keep grinding, and little victories, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So you say like one of your biggest takeaways is just keep grinding day to day, get the deal done, and then just get that confidence, the mojo, and then start flipping to like, okay, I'm in real estate mode. And you're answering calls different. It's like now you answer a call, like you got an extra step.
Well,
I see you every day, and like you walk around, I'm like, this guy's hot. You can tell.
Well, that's the chaos of the business too. I don't think there's like a gentle stream at any point in this business. No. You're either like run off your feet and you're stressed, and like you've got too much going on, and you're just like, but you're making it work. You're not sleeping well because you're waking up in the middle of the night thinking about these deals and everything else, or you're like.
Hell yeah.
Feast or famine, right?
Yes.
And it's and you're just searching for that next deal. So it's like lows or complete highs. I think like you have to accept, again, when I say this business isn't easy, like no one is coasting at that perfect 1 deal, 2 deals, going just steady. It's like 6 deals or like no deals, and sometimes like to get that happy balance is a real tough lifestyle.
It's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
How about for you with like real estate aside, like you've been very busy the past, let's say 6 months in January. Do you find it hard to kind of navigate like a personal life? You also have
I look at it as like I try to
give a life outside real estate.
Yeah, I try to go on holidays.
Yeah.
If I can after Christmas to like first week or two of January, because everyone's.
But do you like really tune out, like phone off, email off, out of office? No. Like you're not one of those.
I don't think anyone can. No. I don't think you can.
Some people do. Some people do an out of office and it's it. It's done.
I try to. Like I'm thankful to be on a team and I have some people supporting me. But like it's
True.
the classic. If you want to get busy as a realtor, go on holidays. It always seems to happen.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But
you did it recently.
But I do feel like at the end of December, beginning of January, it's like pretty slow. Like people, so it's a good time to go. And then when it comes to spring, like I grew up, in farm country, and I feel like the spring market is like being a farmer. Like it's like you make hay while the sun shines. You got to work all the time, and I just accept like there's no days off.
Yeah, fair.
So
like April
until
to August,
until end of June, when people go on holidays and school's out and their kids, where things just naturally slow down with the summer because people have plans. Every weekend is usually people have things taken up. So you got to grind.
So it's like your bulk of your year is probably April to like August.
Yeah.
September, October. I mean, it depends on your clients.
I say like honestly, February till for me the last couple of years, it seems like February to June's really busy. But I mean, and then the summer you get some deals done, and then if there's a bit of a fall market. But
Fall's
I've
busy,
seen
though. Fall can get
Greg.
Fall can get crazy.
Yeah, we were talking to Greg.
September 20th and on.
Yeah, true. Greg, it's hot. And
he does most of his business in like October, November, December, which I think the majority of people probably do it in the summer, spring, fall. So
we're all over the place.
I guess it's all client dependent too, right?
It is client dependent, man. A lot of this business, it's like you have this pipeline or clients, and it's like when they're ready to buy, like you can send them stuff, but sometimes it's just like a plethora of people that all want to buy at the same time that you've had for 6 months. And you're like, what is going on here?
100%.
And so it's really hard to.
So if we pivot outside of like talking about your clients, buying and selling, you just purchased a cottage. On the Quebec side. So congrats. Give them a little pussy.
My little refuge.
Yeah, we got to check it out. We haven't been yet, but we got to check it out. What I want to ask you is, what is your experience buying the Quebec side versus like Ontario? And like you can get, the start to end, like agents, the paperwork, the title insurance, all that stuff.
It's a little different there. It's a little Wild West.
100%.
But like when it comes to law, like the onus in Ontario is on the buyer, right? For buying something, like getting everything. You can have a condition-free offer. In Quebec, the onus is on the seller. So there are some advantages. Like it's like they have to provide a seller's declarant in Quebec where they list off all the things that have been done to the property.
Love that, by the way.
Everything. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I was like, that's nice.
As a purchaser, like I can appreciate.
Yeah, but like my experience is a little unique because I did have an agent, but it was a private sale, so I wasn't competing. And the people selling were like, it took forever. They were very like, send an email and they didn't answer back for 3-4 days. So the thing, I'm like, is this thing happening? Is this going through? I was very like uneasy with the whole experience because the sellers were in control and I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. To the point where I got like frustrated. I was like, I don't even care if this happens anymore. Like I don't even want this place because it kind of pissed me off.
A few times you were like, I just don't give a shit. Like,
but I'm really happy it did. And then the other weird thing is on closing. So you have to get like insurance for a property set up. That's much the same in Ontario. And I had it set for the closing date. And then the week before, the person was like, the notary that represents both clients, which is also odd, which the notary is the lawyer, said to me like, oh, you need to change your insurance date to Friday instead of the Monday. I go, and they didn't give me like explanation.
Wait, you were closing on the property?
I was closing on the Monday.
And they wanted the insurance.
They said you have to change your insurance to the Friday. And I said,
maybe tell me that.
And I was like, why? It doesn't. And then I was just following their advice. And then I got to think about it. I'm like, why would I ever need insurance on a property that I don't own? Why would I get I don't own it till the Monday?
That's such a Quebec thing.
And I didn't understand. And then so the lawyer didn't even tell me. And then I went and asked. I'm like, so I called them. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And they told me, no, the closing date can be moved within 3 days at any given time.
See, I didn't know that.
I was like,
I just learned something new.
I was like,
I never knew
what?
That.
So they changed my closing date to the Friday. I had to cancel my insurance policy, which was like, it is actually an incredible annoyance because they didn't know if they were going to get it done in time because it takes days to get it activated. I had to cancel that policy, get a whole nother policy to the point where even the sellers weren't aware that this was a thing. And on the Wednesday or the Thursday prior to the Friday, they were notified that like, hey, like you have to like be here, and Bruce gets what? They thought they had the weekend to pack up everything. Yeah. And then they were asking me like, hey, can we come in on the weekend, like have the place? I'm like, you can't have the place.
No,
like it's
like you don't own it.
It's like you don't own it. Like it's mine. So they had to scramble and get everything done. And actually, it ended up being to my advantage because they actually had to leave a lot of things.
Oh yeah, you guys.
I got a basketball net, like a new one. So I was like,
I had a dock problem. Yeah. Some of the dock you were saying, your dock situation.
Oh yeah, the dock situation got figured. I mean, I ended up having to pay people to get it set up. It was down the river. They didn't follow through with that, but
I mean, the fact that you're on the water,
it's
not too shabby.
Yeah, I know it's a really nice place in Wakefield, and it's close to the city, so
congrats on that.
It's easy to get back and forth, and it's like, you guys know, in this industry, it's pretty hectic and crazy. It's nice to have a little place to just go and like unwind. And I love Gatineau Park. I love like trail riding.
Yeah, you like your hikings. You're out. Yeah. You do cross country
skiing, and like in the wintertime, I can't wait to like wake up and go for a ski and then like head into the office.
It fits the bill. Yeah. That's a perfect segue then. I was saying we're all talking about real estate. You as a realtor, the business, but you have a life outside of real estate, like we all do. But this guy especially does things that me and him probably could never do. Like
no, not even close.
You want to jump into that? Like, what do you enjoy, do before, like Bruce? Outside of just selling homes and being red hot all the time?
I like being active. Like as far as like outdoorsy things, a little bit of the gym. I mean, I don't spend.
You're pumping the iron. You're pumping the iron.
Let's get like better. Just maintenance. Just keep the joints fluid.
Just staying alive.
Executive workouts.
I really enjoy being like. I went for a trail run this morning, and it's like I haven't done a ton of them because it's the new year here with like the spring and summer. But it's just heaven out there. Like you get the blood flowing, and you're in the forest, and I really think like forest bathing is a thing. It's just like
I've never heard that forest bathing.
Yeah, it's healthy for you.
Really? I've never connect.
You
connect. Makes sense.
Nature in you, and when you finish the endorphins, then you go grab a coffee. Like there's nothing better. It actually sets the tone for your whole day. So it's sometimes hard to get yourself out there in the morning, like just go and do it. But man, is it rewarding. I love it. And then
more profound
music. Yeah, I love music.
You like your tunes, I know that.
I used to play in a band, and I like playing guitar. It's therapy, writing some tunes.
Do you still rip it up with the boys for your band? Like I haven't seen...
We're on a little bit of a hiatus right now just because I've come to realize like the spring market, like I am like... If I'm dialed in, it's like I can't work on songs, songwriting with the guys like a few hours a week whenever it's like super busy. And once this slows down, we'll get back into it. And the drummer's like in the process of moving homes, and he just had 2 young kids.
Yeah, that'd be a hurdle. Imagine like you have a drummer, you guys have been rocking out for years, and he's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
What do? You find a new guy?
Yeah,
like the mojo.
No chemistry.
Oh, dude,
it's
when you're in it, like being in a band, in a touring band and stuff, it's such a grind.
Because you've toured, like you're on Spotify, you should plug it. Where can people find your tunes?
We haven't released anything like that. That was my old band.
Like you're on Spotify. Like if I pull up right now to get the tunes going.
Yeah, you can start. You can do a good ad read for the podcast, and you start with one of the songs.
I'd be fumbling the words.
Yeah, we'll use Brucey's turn.
I'd be fumbling the words.
But when you're in a band, it's definitely like a grind, keeping momentum. You lose guys, you lose drummers, you lose bassists. If you're in it for a while, every band faces that. Especially if you're one that doesn't get like massive success, where like the guys aren't motivated by like being paid large amounts of money. It's a young man's game for sure. People traveling in a van, sleeping on floors.
Do you have a bigger rush doing that back in the day, like jumping on stage with the boys and ripping it up, or selling like one of these $1 million houses that you've sold multiple times?
I do love the hunt of like a home and real estate and winning it with the clients. Like it's a pretty good high, not gonna lie.
Because you do enjoy. Sorry to interrupt, but he loves the buying side. Yeah. I love the selling side.
Yeah.
I'm not to say I don't like working with buyers.
Both are great. I do love. I feel like the hunt is like a kind of a sport with the buying side, which I like. But like being,
I understand. Yeah, fair. I get that.
Being on stage is great. You know what's funny is like a a lot of people don't think about this, but when you're in a band, in the process of just playing a show every day, when you're touring, like you have to get in for sound check at 3:00 and you load all your gear and then you do sound check and then you kind of like hover around the neighborhood for like hours. By the time you play at like 11 p.m. and you're talking to everyone, you're kind of like anxiety is building. You're just looking to get on the show. Probably a little unhealthy. Have a couple shots to like, you don't like
the glaze.
You don't get comfortable till like song 3, 4. That being said, like if you do have a night where like you're clicking and it's magic, it's pretty hard to like replicate that. And the feeling of like relief, like the feeling after the show, it's like
it's still running off adrenaline. It's probably really cool.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
You
like that,
but I think the real estate's a little bit more controlled and.
How did you even jump? I just thought about this. I never asked him. How did you even end up in real estate? Now I'm listening to him talk about like previous experience, what you've done. How the heck did you end up in real estate?
Yeah.
I literally
Two opposite.
You know what? It was actually someone I thought about it. Like growing up as a kid, like my mom always says.
Well,
like, I used to always be in my car and I'd be like, I love that house. I love that house. I want a house like in the forest. Like I always was like kind of like really liked homes as a kid. And I thought about it for like 10, 15 years, but I was like doing the music arts thing. And I always like, anytime I brought up like, you don't want to be a real estate agent. Like it was just such like a dog eat dog world, and you got to like fuck people over and everything else.
Yeah.
And I was like talking to somebody, like I forget, some older fella, and I told him, I'm thinking about doing this, and the guy's like, you don't want to do that, it's like they're all scumbags, and I'm just like, and then I was like, geez. And I'm like, you know what? What if I'm just not a friggin' scumbag? What 100%. If I'm just about like
$1 million man right here? There you go.
What if I'm just like a nice guy? Obviously, if the whole industry or people have this idea that it's like, what if you just don't do that? Like, obviously, there's a niche here to be filled. If that seems to be,
so you're gonna fill it. That's
so then I was like, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, and then it was not fun getting your license.
No, it's hell. Well, Mike just did his. I mean, the course it's
a grind. It's a grind.
Brutal.
I was in the I was in the old world, dude. Like 6 or 7 textbooks.
Oh, it's a gong show.
And there's no interactive, no nothing. It's just like
by yourself.
I didn't talk to one person outside of like obviously you're doing like the virtual stuff.
Yeah. Well, they changed it now, right?
You know what? We even have virtual stuff. It was a textbook. You did the scan
in class. You went to in class for the exam.
Yeah, that's it.
For us at Humber, it's a lot different. It's all on your own, but then you do simulations with like other people.
Yeah. So I asked him
fucking
last time.
Sucks.
I was like, throughout your whole like college experience with real estate, did you take anything out of it? Or do you think working here for 1 month would like 10x your experience? And he was like,
for sure.
Yeah.
And when I walked in, every single person I talked to, they're like,
no,
drop the school.
But he did make great contacts, so it's kind of more interactive now. Like he got to meet a lot of agents that just started, and like it's helped. Like he's had a couple of deals messaging people, and like there's a connection. I feel we didn't have that.
I agree. Like I think there was the one course. It was the second last course where it was like 2 books in one, where you had to be in class.
Yeah.
Or you had to. It was at the real estate.
Is that commercial
thing.
Or residential? Like
I think it was. You actually didn't have to go, but they highly recommended that you go for this 2-week period. And I met a couple people that I'm like, I did go.
Oh, he did. I didn't go. I'm like, I didn't go,
bro. It was like I remember it was intense. So I'm gonna get a little sad, but I remember I was there and like. My cat, who I like absolutely loved, was like super sick at the time, and I remember I had to go home at lunch and like put her down. Like I had the I had the vets come, and I came back, and I remember the teacher's like. He was a nice guy, and I got along with him well. And he's like, "Hey, don't get down, buddy. Smile, pick it up." And he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like,
"Oh my god!"
Like, I just had to like put down my cat. He's like, I'm sorry, man.
Then you gotta write a fucking exam.
Yeah.
Throw that out the window.
Yeah, no, I was
concentration and that. It's just crazy to see.
But yeah, I actually met like 3 really nice ladies that I still kind of keep in touch with.
So I wish I did it the way you did it. Like
it sounds way better now.
I just isolated myself and like banged out all the courses. And I was like, it's a race against time. I want to get licensed ASAP so I can jump into it. Mm-hmm. But I can't name you one person I did the course with today that's still licensed.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Not one person. I don't know if that's a testament
that
to
kind of proves
my class sucked, but like
proves the stat. Yeah. Proves the stat we talked about.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't remember one person.
Oh, you don't remember?
No. There's not one not one person.
I mean, for us, at Humber, like you don't know anyone until you're actually in the simulation because you're on your own the whole way until course 3.
To give him credit, it sounds like it's a lot better than when
it is.
Bruce did it.
But I mean,
at least you got some connections.
At least you got like teachers, like people to lean on. Like,
but it's all GTA based.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Well, it ties into Trev, right? The Toronto real estate board. So I think you're kind of meshing with everybody else. It might actually be a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if that'll help, but I mean,
it's overpopulated.
All right, we want to spin off to something completely different. Bruce, we were talking off air here, and then Bruce had a quote. I don't put you on the spot, but I want to hear this quote.
Oh, the quote.
Sorry, Bruce talking about a quote.
No, I think we were talking about like money being made, and you guys were talking about sales and everything else, and like it's really, I don't think, like I said, the business isn't about the money. It's about like people skills, and like if people are getting into, it's not even this industry, if people are getting into like making tons of money as being the driver and they think they're going to be happy because of things they accumulate and money, like it's good to accumulate money to have and want things, but I was talking about like stoicism. It's gotten really hot in the last year or two, but I've actually been a big proponent of it for like the last 5.
You're passionate. I can see right now the way you're going.
And it's an old Roman philosophy that's pretty insane that this went back like 2,000 years. And they talk about a lot of that. And they say like even some of the richest men in Rome were Stoics, but their thing was like you can accumulate wealth and things, but be prepared if you lose it tomorrow. That's not what your happiness is based on. You'll be fine, you know.
I love that.
Yeah, you'll be fine as long as it's all about your character, doing what's right, integrity, and if you kind of live by that. And when I was talking about a quote, this is one from a book from Seneca, and he's talking about the gladiator games and how like the lust for the gladiator games was so crazy, and he didn't go to them. Seneca was like one of the most brilliant and richest men in Rome, and he talks about how like that influence on you, if you're wanting like brutal things and seeing brutal things, like it's not good for you. And it's one I love. It's more like a paragraph than a quote, but he's talking about such is the measure of the inability of any of us, even as we perfect our personality's adjustment, to withstand the onset of vices when they come with such a mighty following. A single example of extravagance or greed does a lot of harm. An intimate, your partner, who leads a pampered life gradually makes one soft and flabby. A wealthy neighbor provokes cravings in one. A companion with a malicious nature tends to rub off some of his rust, even on someone of an innocent, open-hearted nature. What then do you imagine the effect on a person's character is when the assault comes from the world at large? He's talking about the gladiator games and the brutality. You must inevitably either hate or imitate the world, but the right thing to do is to shun both courses. You should neither become like the bad because they are the many, nor be an enemy of the many because they are unlike you. Retire into yourself as much as you can. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those who are capable of improving you. The process is a mutual one. Men learn as they teach. So,
I like that.
That's 2,000 years ago. And they're talking about like surround yourself with people that like make you feel good.
Yeah.
So especially in this business, when I hear about people like this like negativity, it's like drown it out, man. Like
come back on the basics.
Like, retire into yourself. Focus on things that you can control. Don't let like the noise influence you. You know,
for sure.
And hang out with people that good people. Yeah,
the job's already hard.
I'll share that. Like, and that's somebody who wrote that like 2,000 years ago, and I'm like, that's imagine so that applicable now. Yeah. Where it's like they're talking about even. You can even get mad on when they're saying, you know, don't hate or imitate, and don't shun both courses. Retire. Like even social media, when you see people being like super narcissistic, you're like, look at these people, look at this. It's like, don't worry about it. Let people do what they want, and just like focus on what you can control. Focus on your own path on what you can control.
Completely agree.
Associate yourself with like good people, and like things will just work out. Try to drown out the noise. You know.
Probably the best advice I give to anyone in any industry. Just start off. That's
very easy to get caught out.
And he had that exit. Like he had that. That was a book, a picture of a book. He didn't have a Wikipedia.
No,
that was the real book.
It's
show the camera. That's the real. He's got the real book. Like that's how you know he's about it. Like that's not.
I like that.
I've shared that with a few people. Like whenever people are getting caught up in external things. It's like,
heck yeah,
dude, this is like philosophy from like some really brilliant people.
And it applies now, and I think it will always apply.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's very, very easy to get caught up in other people's shit and what's going on and comparing yourself, and it could really fuck you up.
Totally. And just focus on what you can control. That's another big stoic thing.
Put good people in your life.
Yeah, just focus on what you can control. All the other stuff, it's like...
Just shows how humble he is.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had like any like humble experiences while selling real estate? Like,
I honestly...
You got great clients, by the way. Bruce's clients are 10 out of 10 off the charts, but like some of the stories you tell me, I'm like, holy smokes, that hits home. Like you have but you work with some great people.
Yeah, I know. I'm lucky. I really do. I've the last bunch of clients I have. I'm like, man, this is amazing. Like these people are awesome. But I've definitely had some.
Yeah, well, we all go.
So but you're always gonna have trying. Like you're not gonna match personality wise with every one of your clients. But it's like you be as personable, as friendly as possible. And talking about that as our job, it's like. Our job to be like, it's service-based is to be like an executive assistant, a concierge, do whatever you can. That is your role. That's like, the world is so shit right now for like service.
No, it's true though.
To a T.
Service-based, like you want something done, you try and call. If it's for something you've bought, if it's for an internet plan, if it's whatever, like you can't get in touch with anybody. Like one thing we can do is be as connected personally to those people that we're working with. Contact us whenever,
24/7, hit me up.
24/7, do whatever you can. You are an executive assistant. That's your job, and to find them the best deals. And like, if you're not willing to do that, then like I think you're missing the point.
Someone else is gonna.
And I think like for me, I did work in service industry like style, like from hotels, 4-diamond service. Like you got to offer a 4-diamond hotel experience service to your clients, just through contact, being there for them, it's like we wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
But
it's not a one size fits all approach. For
what was the question again? I think I totally went on.
No, I was just saying like you're a humble guy and like you just showed. Yeah. I would say like have you had any experiences while selling or like this hits home like.
Yeah, I think about something that was humbling is like I could give you like 2 examples, like where the first deal I ever did, I got my license and I had this neighbor who was like, oh, when you get your license,
when you get your license,
hey. we want a farm property. And I was like, yeah, I'll be there for you. Like I kind of thought he was bullshitting, like
the classic
day one, like, I get my license like day one and he's like, hey, Vanessa just like sent me this property, sorry for using the person's name, but she sent me this property out in Almont, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, can we go see it? I'm like, this is a farm, full-on farm, like day one, and we get there.
That's not easy though.
This is day one. That's not easy, that evening, I book a showing. I'm going out to a farm property, like farm buildings, 2 wells, everything else, and we get there, and they fall in love, and they're like, we want to put in an offer. I'm like,
this is the easiest job in the world.
Well, it's you kind of don't know what you're doing either.
No, for sure,
day one,
for sure.
And you haven't really made the contacts like to like for support. So that deal ended up like being like, water well, fail. Septic, totally done, fail. Like
foundation, fail.
Asbestos. Every single thing that could possibly go wrong. Like negotiating massive price reductions. Like I was run through the gamut on that one deal, and we got it done. And they
the deal went through?
The deal went through.
That's wild.
Yeah, we won it, but it was
so your first deal, first client, first offer went through.
Oh, a shit show it sounds like.
And then the next one was listing in my hometown, and like also very.
Where's the hometown?
It was Maxville.
Maxville, okay.
Maxville. Also very much like a learning lesson where a family friend and like lovely, and she said like they got a new septic in 2012 or something, new septic. So like I marketed it, new septic. Buyers came through like full home inspection, septic inspection, well, water and everything, and they do their own septic inspection. They're like, there's like 3 years left on this. Like there's bitumen on this septic. I'm like, it's a new, like I have like the doc, she gave me the folder, like, hey, new, and rookie me, I'm just like, I took her word
the
for it. Like, I'm
given,
like, it's a new septic. She got like, here's, I can see the document, the receipts and everything. I didn't review it. And then so I get my own septic inspection. They're like, listen, it's not finished, but what it ended up being, it was a new septic tank they had, a new concrete tank. The bed was
the
old.
same, yeah.
So then the buyers backed out, and like $1,800, $2,000 cost that he's saying you got to cover because
so no way,
yeah, because you promoted this as a new septic, and I was like, fuck, yeah. But thankfully, like the seller was like, that was my bad. I thought it was an all new septic, but that was a
thing is though, boom, lesson learned.
Humble,
yeah, you learn that real quick.
You're like, hey, you gotta
like, shit, man, this is real.
You gotta be on top of that. You have to really double check everything, and then. It's kind of like anything in life where like you get some leads in this and you think like huge things. You got like a friend who's a developer and you sit down in numerous meetings and you're like, I'm getting 36 unit building, baby. You start, talking to your partner about
Two
it.
rentals.
Like, even Irina, everything. Yeah, God, this is like a done deal. And then like you get ghosted.
Yeah, you don't hear from them.
You don't hear from them. And then lo and behold, it's a rental building eventually. God damn it.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's the nature of business,
just like
though.
until it's something. I don't believe
that was like me at the open house. Remember, I'd call him like, I got 6 guys on the go. Fuck, no answer.
So this guy finishes an open house, calls me, 6 deals coming. We got him. We got him. I'm like, oh, this is great. Monday morning comes along. Those 6 people, what's happening?
Yeah,
not answering.
Change their number.
Yeah.
Just keep following up, but like it's just funny because like in the actual moment, like you were saying, this guy was stoked.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then 2 days later,
goes back to it's such highs and lows.
Same thing on a conditional deal.
I
almost revert. I'm just like, no. This is
skeptical.
I'm like, this thing is gonna fall through because I'm setting myself up for. I don't want to get too excited.
The reverse jinx.
Yeah.
I reverse jinx all the time.
I like that way though. That's smart.
Conditionally
sold, keeps you humble.
It's not gonna sell. I always tell myself, nah, it's not going.
Yeah.
That's actually thinking about the craziness of stoicism. There's
this guy's a rock star. Look at him.
One tactic where it's like where I think it's not thinking of the worst, but it's actually one of their things is negative visualization. Where in order to like appreciate life, if you spend you just spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes in a day, and you think about this sounds really morbid, but you think about all the worst things that can happen. You think about this is crazy. You think about like you just get a call and you find out like your parents were in a car accident and they're could be dead in the hospital, and you think about all the worst things that could happen, and when you get out of it, you appreciate so much
that you have everything.
You're like, oh my God, I'm rich.
Like
I have like my partner, I have this, I have that, even right down to my hands. I have my hands. I can play guitar. I can do this. If you think about what the worst can happen, which has happened to a lot of people, it makes you super appreciative of what you have. And you're like, oh my God, life is beautiful. Sometimes you need to check that, because you can be like, oh, I need to accumulate this, and you have this, and you think like, it's not like you got to take a back seat, and like your health is everything.
Without that, you got nothing.
Yeah.
You can get caught up in the materialistic things, and like I like just pulling back, and life's good. We're all good.
Yeah.
Keeps you grounded. Right. The fact that all 3 of us are here, us 5 with the 2 boys in the back that were here having a conversation, a few beers, relaxing, like most people can't do that.
For sure.
We're just lucky to be here. It's
the
crazy.
Billionaire on his deathbed,
would love to do this.
when he's like nearing death with sickness, would trade spots with anyone with $0.
You're not taking the cash with you.
Health, hanging out, friends. It's like you don't think about that every day, but you do have to check in. Like stoicism or any philosophy is not something you're just going to get. It's like you have to actually like work on it and think about that.
Perspective, man. It's crazy. It's like we have a good friend of ours, Eric Charron. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, Clid. We love you, buddy. But we were talking off air, like good friend. Like you never know. Like one day wake up and news hits and you're like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
No guarantees.
Right? Yeah. So. And
you don't get it. I don't think you get a second chance at this.
No.
It's not like you're coming back. Like it's kind of a miracle. We're here. I think it's a miracle you get to be born as a human being, like in this time period.
The odds insane. It's insane.
There's a lot of people in the world that have hard things going on. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's like think about all. He's getting pretty heavy. But think about all the things you can be born as. You can be born as a little insect in the corner.
Yeah,
we get to be like
the fact
humans.
All 3 of us know each other.
Pretty damn fucking lucky, crazy.
Yeah,
it's remarkable. Like the fact that all 3 of us now know each other. I know it's through real estate, but
it's wild.
We didn't have to get along. We just kind of came to the office one day. Like, this guy's got similar interests, and then sit down and have a chat. Right? It's crazy, but I know we took a lot of your time. I do appreciate it. But before we leave, a few more real estate questions here. We gotta pick his brain a little bit. The $1 million man. We gotta jump into it. The news right now: interest rates. It's up. prices are still relatively high.
Yeah.
Are you one of those positive persons on the overall market? Or are you kind of like, you know what, guys, like cash is king, hold on and wait for it to happen, essentially time in the market? Or are you more the type to tell your clients, like, just get in now, the best time was yesterday? You know what I mean?
I think more to just the latter of what you're saying, get in now. Like my prediction with all this, I think like the government is not telling the full picture. I think inflation is worse than it is.
100%.
I think the government is spending like crazy on money. With obviously with money, it's devaluing the dollar. The more they spend, supply chains are like tightened. It's not looking like it's going to get better with China and the Ukraine war. Things are more and more expensive. Everything's getting more and more expensive. I think, and it's complicated. It's more complicated than just inflation. But what the government's going to do is just going to say, what we're going to do is we're just going to raise interest rates to calm this inflation. But I think it's more complicated.
Doesn't work like that.
And they're spending money like crazy. Preparing for possibly another big war maybe down the road. Knock on wood. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see. I think interest rates for the next couple of years are going to continue to rise. So but I don't think it's going to calm the real estate industry. I think there's going to be a lot of unfortunate people that get left behind because people invest in real estate when things get really wacky because it's just like uncertainty. It's something where they can put their money. But people with money will invest their money, and developers, because of the cost of things right now, are sitting on the sidelines. So more is not going to be built. So inventory is going to be constricted.
It's already low. Like our inventory is bad.
And we're not getting more. Like everything that's being built right now is like rental purpose condos that was from a policy incentive from CMHC 4 years ago to pay for like soft costs, etc. So that's like people are thinking things are being built. Well, that's from 4 years ago. Like developers are waiting right now. Like they're not getting financing at these
on the sidelines.
Yeah,
they're just waiting like this. The hands are just waiting to cook. But
so I think it's gonna like continue. Rates will continue to rise for a little bit, and hopefully the government at some point like maybe realizes. I just think I'm not an economist. I don't know. Everything I'm saying can be complete lie.
No crystal ball, my man.
But I do.
No, I agree what you're saying.
Yeah, I do think it's like the economy's just gotten a lot more diverse and complicated than just raising interest rates. Mm-hmm. And they might get to a point where they've raised a certain amount and they're like, whoa, this is like not working. People are still spending. This is which is
literally happening right now.
Yeah, the market's still on fire. I submitted an offer on a place day one yesterday. 3 offers.
Justin Trudeau, hope you're watching this.
Yeah, it's like
it ain't working.
I don't think it's. And there's a lot of people, specifically the Ottawa market. There's a lot of people coming. Like my last bunch of buyers, like Calgary,
a lot of town, Vancouver, Toronto.
Yeah, people are coming here. 100%.
People are coming here. It's a great place to live. There's a lot of amenities. It's
love
clean,
Ottawa.
Safe for families. So
if you're outdoorsy.
Outdoorsy. You got a park. You got cottage country within 30, 40 minutes.
Love it.
I don't see it slowing down here.
Do you think it's
I think people are going to get left on the sidelines.
So get in yesterday versus jump in today. You're still in that mentality. Like some people.
I do because I think Ottawa is going to become a lot more unaffordable. I think people coming from other places are coming here. They're raising the prices, unfortunately, like where it happens everywhere. So if you're somebody that is from Ottawa and can get in the market now, get in the market now. Like pricing is almost like right back to.
Do you think we're undervalued as a city? Like if you compare it to like Western Canada or like Toronto, GTA, GTA is a whole different story. But do you think we're undervalued? Like a city as a whole? I think it's completely undervalued. And people are like, oh my God, $600K for a row. Mm-hmm. I'm like, go to Toronto. Go to Vancouver. Go to Montreal. Montreal is sky like
fucking wild.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I still think Ottawa's undervalued.
And you won't be stuck in traffic for an hour and 45 minutes.
East to
Quality
west.
of life,
Boom.
4 hours a day traveling in traffic.
Preach.
Time is money. So you get a cheaper way of living. Also, I've had like a few clients that have moved from Toronto in Mississauga, etc., where they're wanting a better, like it's flaunting the thing we were talking about. It's such a competitive game as far as status and wealth goes. All neighbors are everyone's got to get a Mercedes. Everyone's got to get the Gucci,
a little more
everything else.
here.
And they're not wanting, and they're people with like, they have a decent amount of money, but they're not wanting to raise their children in that culture. They come here, and it's a lot more down to earth. Mm-hmm. And they're choosing because they want their kids to be surrounded by that versus like a status. So I think like that's something where like we also stand out.
That's a big. Yeah.
People even in Ottawa, even people with money. This is a sneaky city. Yeah. It's a sneaky city with people with money. It's very people don't want to flaunt it.
Ottawa's very conservative.
It's a very modest city.
Well, it's a government. Modest. It is a government town, so I get that. But at the same time, like you just said, like there's some money here.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Drive around, I can show you some nice fucking houses.
But they're not here to show it off, Like,
exactly.
It's like, and that's just the way our city is. I think it's healthy.
Yeah. Very quiet to themselves. They're not like the GTA where it's flash, and I mean, growing up in that lifestyle would be tough.
It's funny because I personally think, this is my take, all three of us are in the right market, the right city, right everything.
For sure.
If you threw us in Toronto, I have no idea.
It's a whole different playbook.
Yeah. I don't know how I'd do it.
Yeah.
And there's 70,000
you make it for so long, but after a while, like the hustle and bustle, the down, like there's no way in hell.
There's 70,000.
True.
I get that feeling like when I go to Toronto. All my Toronto people out there, love you.
I love Toronto.
I'm not shitting on the six. No. But I find like sometimes like when I go out there, like if I'm go to a nice restaurant and eat, and it looks like everyone is like not impressed. Like there's, it's very competitive. Even at like go to a concert or a show, and it's like people are. I don't know, like whereas Ottawa, everyone's just like, oh, this is amazing. This is like, it's very competitive.
Try and one up. They try and one up each other.
Yeah, and it comes from like it's a dog eat dog world there, for sure. Just trying to afford real estate. People are grinding, trying to get to that next level. There's less of that now.
Yeah, I don't know if GTA would be. I could do Montreal.
I can visit. Montreal's good.
I love Montreal. Yeah. If I were to redo the whole map, I would go to. I go to Montreal.
Such a vibe there, and especially in the
great hockey team, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's close, man. 2 hours away.
Depends how fast you are, but yeah. No, but I appreciate your time. I'm sure the boys over here. I think we're probably over our.
That was
like 35 minutes. Probably at like 45.
Perfect.
47.
That was great. That was good.
I appreciate it, my man.
Yeah.
Hope to get you on episode 2 in a few months.
We didn't get any ad reads in. Maybe next time we'll get a couple ad reads.
Yeah.
Couple views first.
I'll get in there for some ad reads for you guys.
Oh yeah.
Today was sponsored by Max Damour and his local campground beer. So I appreciate you, Max.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was awesome, man. Thanks for coming, and cheers, guys. See you guys in the next one, and we'll do it all again.
Thanks, boys.
Cheers.
High five, my man. There you go, boys.